So, hello everybody. This is Johnnie Geathers. Welcome to another JG Mental Fridays. I hope all of you having a great day so far. You just got your day started. I hope you have a great day. So today I have a special guest. As you know, I've been keep bringing on different guests of people that I know and I have a good, relationship with. So it was a pleasure to have this brother be on JG Mental Health Fridays for this episode. So I want to give him the time to introduce himself. So Kenneth, take it away.
Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, appreciate the opportunity. We should have been linked up and recorded something sooner, but better late than never. So I am Ken. You can call me Kenneth, call me KB. Born and raised in Philly. I am now the founder and CEO of Born and New, which is an organization I started to address the well-being of Black boys and men. But really, the goal is to focus on the sustainability. So whether you're in or nonprofits or schools, it doesn't really matter. But how do you address the well-being of Black boys and men, and more importantly, how do you sustain that? So I know when star faculty leave, they usually take their stardom with them, and that usually leaves students, clients, whoever, right, with no sort of system in place that is sustainable or replicable that keeps their well-being intact. So that's what we do at Born and New. We do a lot of other things too, maybe some books here and there, uh, but yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to get into talking about one of the books that you got coming up because that's one of my questions. But to kick it off, what made you get into social work?
Yeah, bro. So to be honest with you, man, growing up in Philly, in Southwest, you know, social work is something that we live, right? Like, yeah, it's just what we do with our people. And they just call it social work. But as I went to undergrad, I went to Dennis University in Ohio. People like, why you go to Ohio?
Mhm.
They gave me the most money,
Yeah.
and it was predominantly white institution. But after I figured out all those trials and tribulations, I get to my senior year, and the professor come to me. I was majoring in sociology and anthropology at the time, and the professor comes to me and said, you should go to grad school and do social work. And I was completely honest with her and said, I don't even know what that is. Like my folks only has a high school education. Coming this far is already, like a lot. I was alone doing this. I have no idea what grad school is. And so she kind of set me down, told me about it, understood that like it's not necessarily a fair, a level playing field, but y'all all are coming from different like potentially different backgrounds or different studies in different majors. And maybe nobody in your class may know anything about social work. So she was kind of explaining it to me that way. But she said that all of my papers and research is always talking about action.
Mhm.
And she said social work might allow you to do the action that you talk about because at this university we do a lot of research. And you always talk about how do we take these tools and turn them into transformation or these policies and turn them into practices. She says social work will help you do that. So that's honestly how I got in. Before that, I didn't know nothing about it. We applied, and by the grace of God, we got in.
Word, and the rest is history.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So, if you wasn't in this field right now, what would you be doing?
Honestly, bro, I wish I would have learned more how to use my hands in a more helpful way. In the hood, we use our hands in a more violent way in the streets. But I wish I would have learned how to like some skills, bro. So like carpentry or something like that. I probably would have been an entrepreneur one way or another. And I really wish, like, what I'm saying, I could build a house. I know that sounds wild. Or like, my car need fixing, boom, I'm just gonna fix it.
Yeah.
So I probably would have been doing that, whatever that looks like.
All right. All right. Okay. And just explain to the people, because like you said, you grew up in Philly. I grew up in Philly as well. I grew up on 61st in Washington and everything. Um, Tell the people what's the difference between West Philly and Southwest, because most people think that, oh, that's considered Southwest. No, that's considered West. So, in your own words, what do you consider to be West Philly and what do you consider to be Southwest?
Yeah, I mean, they do border each other. Like,
Right.
you could cross. So I grew up on 54th Street. So I was in between Whippy and Thomas Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cross Baltimore Avenue for us on that side, which I walked to school, so I went to school in West Philly. So it was in walking distance. So once you cross, you was in West Philly. But I think if you was in like some of the trenchest parts of Southwest, you would see the difference of like it's a different type of people, also different ethnicities there.
Right.
It's a lot more people who may identify as African descent. Like it's a lot more of that um, in Southwest and
Mm-hmm.
every part of Philly too. There's you kind of know by like the dialect or handshakes, right? So like I was born in South Philly, so a lot of my family's in South Philly, and the way we shake hands is different than you would do in different parts of Philly. And sometimes people know where you're from by things of that nature. So
Right.
it's
Right.
hard to explain because like I can literally just, you know what I'm saying, take a 2 minute walk and I'm in West Philly and nobody wouldn't really trip about it. Like, oh, you
Right.
from Southwest. So yeah, I think the difference is like the groups of people who live there. It was definitely a lot of yeah, we had all types of like jerk chicken spot, like all type of
Mhm.
Caribbean food. So it was just I think Southwest has a influx of those different ethnicities, but more
Right.
so folks who may identify with the African diaspora.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad that you said that it's basically when people cross Baltimore Avenue, because that was what my mindset was. As soon as you cross Baltimore Avenue, you up going by, Cobbs Creek and Cobbs Creek Parkway and everything, you already in West Philly. Even growing up on 61st Washington, there used to be a newspaper. I don't know if they still make this to this day, but it used to be this newspaper called the West Side Weekly. So that lets
Mm.
you know that you're in West Philly because you get the West Side Weekly and all that stuff like that. And I remember in school used to be like every time they released the West Side Weekly, especially when it was report cards coming out, you always used to look up to see if your name will be put on the West Side Weekly for honor roll and all that stuff like that. So yeah. All right. So next question. What was a challenging moment that you was able to overcome in your life?
Jeez, we gotta pick one. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
pick one. I know it's a lot, but pick one.
I would say education. So I went to an all boys high school. It's called Boys Latin. I went when it first opened. It's a lot different now. Hopefully, prayerfully, it's a lot better. But when it was first, it was brand new and things were just different back then. So like the neighborhood schools didn't like us. We got into a lot of fights with West Philly High and Paul Robeson. We was fighting each other. That was day in and day out. That's just what we was doing. The school has so much teacher turnover. It was brand new. So like your history teacher becomes your disciplinarian, they become your principal, and then they're going in a week. It was so brand new. We were all like guinea pigs trying to figure it out. I say that because once I went to college, the only reason I went to college is because the CEO of the school came to me and said, like, what college you going to? And I kept it a bean with him and said, I don't even believe it or not, though, I could probably walk to UPenn. I'm not probably, I could walk to UPenn,
Mhm.
University of Pennsylvania. But I had no idea what like college was for real. So I said, like, I'm not doing that. I live in the hood. I'm going right back. I walk here. And he was like, no, you got really good grades. Like you should apply to college, whatever. So I started doing that. I started talking to other kids who was applying. And so I say that to say my educational upbringing didn't prepare me for college. I just wasn't equipped, bro. Like I didn't even know how to add classes, buy books. I couldn't call home because nobody else knew what I was talking about. So yeah, I just wasn't prepared, man. And my freshman year, bro, I had like a 1.2 GPA, and my scholarship that I was accepted on, I needed to keep a 2.5 minimum in order to keep the scholarship. So you saying I lost my scholarship. It was stuff like that. But by it was junior year, uh, figured it out. I figured out how to teach myself, how to study, how to write, because I didn't have to really do all of that throughout high school. I was gifted and talented, but I didn't have to try. And
Mhm.
so I figured out education. And so by the time I got to grad school, it was it. It was just like it was fun. Like learning became a passion and wanting to continue to learn versus something that I like. avoid it because it connected the dots of failure, and now it connects the dots of like opportunity or exploration or curiosity. So education, maybe I should say the educational structure we have here, right, in America. Once I figured that out, I kind of overcame that. It was no problem.
Right, right. All right. So, growing up in Philly, what was, what is one of your favorite things that you like to do?
Man, I live close to. You asked me about what's the difference between Southwest and West. I live close to Fred's Wood Ice,
Okay.
and Fred's is definitely something in Southwest. And yeah, man, Fred's Wood Ice was something that like we did. We got pretzels. I got mine with cheese. Some people get like cheese and mustard, but I just got it with cheese. And the
Hmm.
flavors be so good, bro, that I just got rainbow. I always got rainbow.
Yeah.
So I just get all the flavors, bro, with some pretzels. Uh, that was it. I would walk by Fred's to go to middle school every day. So like Fred's was something that I remember the summertime being. And also growing up in Philly, I didn't realize it, but like travel to other places, you know, uh, poppy stores we call them. They call
Hmm.
bodegas in Chicago and those other. So like they was almost on every corner.
Right.
Uh, now as we got older, me and you got smarter. We realized like, is this a food desert? That's all. That's a different conversation. But like grocery
Hmm.
stores, poppy stores, and like Chinese stores, they was everywhere. And so
Right.
that was just childhood days. Like you went to stores to avoid where to go to get the good snacks.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was that. Oh, I was also a kid who biked a lot. Like I was just on my bike. I go from Southwest to South Philly to downtown, just be on my bike all the
Oh,
time.
word, word. Okay, okay. You brought back some good memories because for me, I used to love riding my bike with my dad. My dad used to be like, all right, we're going to ride your bike somewhere. So like to do that. A good thing for me when, especially during the summer, if you know that a block party is happening, you definitely go to that block party to have a good time with your friends and
Facts.
everything like that. Like you said, definitely get your water ice. It's gonna be a good day when the ice cream truck coming down the
Oh
street.
yeah, I forgot Mr. Softy.
Yeah, Mr. Softy. So every time you hear that come around, you like, all right, let me go get some money, get some ice cream. And like you said, the poppy stores and stuff, that was a big thing because for us when we go into school, if we don't want to eat the school lunches and everything, we always would get,
Facts.
4 bags of chips. It'd be like the bags of chips be 25 cents. You get 4 bags of chips for $1, get you like a hug or you get you a
Facts.
Days pop soda and everything, or get you a hoagie and you straight
Facts. Facts.
and stuff. So if you coming to school with that black plastic bag, you got some stuff. You went to the corner store before you went to school. Yep.
Facts.
Yeah. So
Bro, I went there
yep.
before school. Breakfast, that's what I was.
Yep.
We weren't eating school lunch. School lunch was
Yeah.
never in.
Mm-mm. Nope.
No, that's real.
Nope. No, no, no. So we want to shift gears because we know that in this field there's a lot of different avenues of doing things and expressing the nature of social work and teaching the community. So I want to ask you this question: what is your inspiration of becoming an author?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I don't. I think what ended up happening on how I became, an author and why that started was to be very honest, it was a lot of people would say like I should do something. So like
Mhm.
tell your story. Originally, it was going to be about. I remember in grad school, a lot of students would say, classmates would say like, "Why don't you write something like write your story down or like stuff you've been through? Like it may help somebody else." But for me, it was like my mindset was still a little small, so I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't care to do that. Um, what ended up sparking it was, I guess it's I'm definitely more capable of helping other people. You know how that is. Like we help other
Mhm.
people before we help ourselves. And so for me, it was growing up in Philly education system and then watching my, what I'm saying, nieces and nephews and them go through it, I'm like, this can't be the norm. Like stuff needs to be different. And people wasn't just talking about it for what it was. Like potentially a lot of after school programs or somewhat resources, but nobody was naming that like there's structural issues going on here, right? Like, so the way I titled my book is a little strategic, right? Because it says like anger management for Black male teens, but it's not written for Black male teens to read. It's written for the educators and those who come into our community and trying to serve. They have no idea what it's like. They just see it as a symptom, an anger or a behavior issue. And it's like, it's a way more complex than that. And it's very intersectional. And you all need to understand what that is when you're trying to come and serve us. We're not charity. It's not a token. Like you don't get no prize for doing this. Is what resources do you have when you coming into our community? We should be helping us be better. And they don't get training, bro. Like there isn't no training specifically for that. And there's no resources specifically for that. I just said I'm gonna do it. And when I end up writing it, I remember the CEO of my high school had said, and he'd been in education for, I'm saying for forever. Like he's up there in age, but he said like name something that we just don't talk about. He said you put a name to it. He said we all know this to be real, but we just don't talk about it. And that's all he ever told. Like that was his feedback to the book. He never said it was bad, never said it was good, but he was like, "You actually did it. Like you wrote it. Something that we don't talk about. We know it to be real." Because he was, we went to all. He started this all boys school, and by structural racism, it turned out to be all black. Right? Like, how can a school in Philly be not all black? Be all black. We have dudes from every hood, and it's like, so for me, it was this can't be the norm, and we need resources, bro, and they need to be communicated in language that is very simple. So I thought about my mom, who only has a high school education.
Right.
So I said, what if she had a different resource or some resources that said, like, read this. You may learn a little bit more about what your son feels or what he's going through or what it's like to be, to try to grow up in these environments. What would my life look like? Right? Would it have mattered? And so I can't leave it up to somebody else and then be upset when it's like they missed this or they could have said this or like, like it's written by another white person talking about X, Y, and Z.
All right, all right. So yeah, so basically what you were saying was just for that aspect of becoming an author, it was just that aspect of trying to teach more of people about how to structure things for us and things of that nature. So while we was talking about that, can you give to the people out there what are some things that you already released already alongside of what you got coming up?
Yeah, so my first book was titled Anger Management for Black Male Teens, How to Help Your Teen Manage Their Emotions. Uh, that book is purely about, it's a very like one-on-one foundation on addressing the well-being of Black boys. At that time, I was doing therapy, a lot of one-on-ones, and I was only serving Black boys and men. And so from like, all that real life experience data, I put some stories in there to try to help paint the picture, but just will put real life case examples on how some things happen. Talk about the brain in there, how the brain is developed and designed, and why that's important to understand. All kinds of like tools. Every chapter has like a synopsis, but like an activity that I'm trying to get them to try. So it's like we just talked about this. Now you try it. Here's an activity you can try with your students, whoever you serve. Now in the second book, uh, well, after that I wrote a workbook, and that has over like 100 worksheets, but that addresses trauma, mental health, identity, self-esteem, all that kind of stuff. It kind of like complements the first book, The Anger Management for Black Male Teens, but it's just a straight resources. You feel what I'm saying? It's not like it's not the research, it's not the learning about the brain. It is, but it's in like worksheet format so that because originally, right, the book is titled Anger Management for Black Male Teens, but Black male teens aren't reading. It's not for them to read. So the worksheet now is like something that you can actually give to them and do with them. Do it yourself first or do with them and learn more information. So I have like social workers or counselors will email me like, we tried this. and I was finally able to, get past the get more than I don't know. Like if you ever work with teens, they'll tell you I don't know, and they'll just tell you that to the death of them.
Right.
And so it was like I'm finally able to get past that or get past the symptom and get to like understanding what's actually happening and what's going on. And now we have a children's book that actually just got done today. So I'm gonna be up all night trying to get that thing ready to get it pushed out on my website and stuff. That one is called Yester Time, but that one focuses on fatherhood, grief, love, all through memories. And so that came about because I was trying to explain the loss of my son's grandpa, which was my dad,
Hmm.
to him because he started asking questions. And I realized that, like, damn, we don't talk about this enough at all. And I don't know how to explain this to you. Like, I just really don't know how to explain this to you. So I connected with some people, whether they call themselves grief experts or work in organizations. And I'm like, what is the resources for children? And so learned that it really wasn't that many books out there. And, um, with us in it. Um, and I knew that he loves books. One of these bookshelves in the back of me is all his books.
Oh, word.
And so I said I need to write a book. And I understood how children already learn because I used to work with uh, children, right? So like I know they learn through play and things need to rhyme. That's why songs are so catchy. So I wrote a book and then I made a coloring book to go along with it so that, hopefully the prayer is to help hearts, help have that conversation, help name things. And it's also therapeutic by art through art and rhyming. And so yeah, all of what I do is always trying to help uh, and be some sort of a blessing, and and not just write for the fun of it or like it is fun, but it's like we got to leave generations with something that they can refer to or look for, right? It's like when me and you was in college, it's like where are the black people who said something, or like we all we know is what you all are teaching us, but where are the other people who says something about this topic? Or so uh, that's where that came from. Writing also a little bit stems from like going to a research institution. Like we we write in 15-page papers minimum for every class. So I guess it became secondhand. Now I just needed to learn how to write in a way that people want to read and not necessarily like, in a research format. So those are the books. The children's book is in English and Spanish.
All
The
right.
coloring book is just in English. And yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. And when is that? Yeah, when does Yestertime, when is that gonna be released?
You are the first person to know this, but it will be I'm gonna work on it tonight. So it's done. And there's as a self-published author, there's just things you gotta do to get it ready. But I'm gonna put it so people can start ordering it on my website tonight. And then I
Okay.
got a bunch of posts that I've been working on. You know how we do. We work in the dark. So when
All right.
it's time. But then I just have to upload it to these um, uh, platforms that allow for shipping nationwide or international and all that. You got to do all that. So, but besides that, it'll be ready today. I was hoping it'd be ready August 1st, but God's timing said no.
Yeah.
Because maybe, always trying to stay in tune. What I didn't tell you is I was hoping it was going to be ready by August 1st. And so I had fasted the week before that. Uh, and I didn't, there was no sex, no food, no
Hmm.
social media. Only food I did eat was watermelon and water. But the goal was to like, I'm asking for God for more. And so I needed to just retrain my brain and body to like, where do you seek your help and your answers from?
You already said that it's gonna be out tonight online and everything, but still gotta get some things kinked up and everything. You said that you fasted. And such, just to kind of be intentional in how you do things and such. And since we're talking about that aspect of being intentional, what you do, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. I see myself still building on what I started with Born Anew. Uh,
Okay.
but I see Born Anew being further down the line and establishing itself as uh, a lead organization in providing resources or professional development or see me building on the work of Born Anew. But I see it now at that point more established as a leading space for people to come to get professional development, CEUs, workshops, more resources that all center the well-being of us, uh, of Black boys and men. And yeah, and also at that point, I mean, 5 years, bro, a lot can happen in 5 years, man.
Right.
So, by the grace of God, hope, hopefully we got a maybe like a brick and mortar, but it'd be by us for us kind of situation. Like I'm very strategic on who I even partner with, because you see how our current administration will impose things and how people start switching.
Okay, okay. So you said you'll make things going on with, with your organization and everything. But one final question. What is something that you would say that you could say to your younger self right now?
Think if I could say anything, it'd be you actually got it.
Okay.
It was a lie. There's nothing to find. It's more so explore. You don't need to find your purpose. You just explore what God already implanted in you. And so, like, things that do come natural or feel like they're natural, or they may be gifts already from God. So I got in trouble for talking a lot, and then I get paid to speak, right? So like, uh, you really just gotta back up.
All right.
But yeah, it definitely be to you already got it. You don't need to find purpose. You just need to explore your purpose. Trust God, trust within you, and stay focused.
All right. So y'all heard it from him first. Um, Again, appreciate you for being on and everything. If y'all have any words or information or anything that you want to connect with him on, definitely reach out to him. I'll have all his information on, all the different platforms when we release this. But if you have any words or topics that you want me to address on the JG Mail Fridays, you can contact me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the videos on there. Also, go to my website, to Wix. Check out the videos on there. Learn more about me. Check out articles I did for Health and Middle Magazine and other different speaking engagements, other opportunities. As always, I appreciate all of you for your love and support. And now I'm going to leave you with the closing message. Reflect on the positives, plan ahead, and relax. RPR. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Be well. Be blessed. And peace.
Peace.